Record
right.
too.
You can do whatever you want. We're cool. So we're rolling. This is episode number 201, according to the traditional counting method. There were some other ones that got slid in. Right, exactly. So once again, we're hot on the heels of Mid Ohio. The to my immediate left, who's going to tell us his name and what bikes he's been riding this week, is
Chris Smith. Been riding the 81 Suzuki GS 450 and the 2001 Kawasaki Drifter.
Oh, so those are the two bikes you're putting.
Those ones I got out this week.
Right on. Very cool.
And Oscar, I've been riding my CT110 on trails and all over the place in Mid-Ohio as much as I could.
Dustin, I have not been riding anything because mine's getting new shoes.
Well, you made it.
Yeah.
3/4 of the way to Mid-Ohio.
More than that, I think about 2/3.
Oh, wow.
It counts.
Well, 3/4, yeah, probably. I was about 30 miles away.
Yeah, there you go.
27, I believe Luke said.
Toured half the state in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, really.
It's moving.
All right, next to Dustin is Sleepy Cinch. I've been riding my Buddy and the Green Death Machine
Oh, God.
and my Super Tenere, and then I had an opportunity to ride a Africa Twin DTC this week.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And I love the Africa Twin.
Yeah.
I do not like the DTC.
Yeah.
I know maybe it's great for old dudes that don't like to shift or whatever, but when you go into a turn and it's not the gear you want it to be in, and
Right.
I mean, and I'm not used to looking for the down button thing and say, I'll give me a clutch and my lever and I'm good, man. But that being said, the bike itself, kind of like, looking at the Super Tenere, looking at that, it's kind of comfortable, man.
It is kind of comfortable.
You're sitting in it. It's a nice bike.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing.
Well, then, next to Steve would be Johnny Chrome. What have I ridden? Bunch of customer shit.
Yeah.
Down at Mid, I was riding my RV125 Suzuki.
Nice.
Little bit of Trail 90 here and there. A little bit of that crazy ass mini bike.
I rode that Suzuki too. That thing's awesome, man.
John Deere tractor at home.
And
That's about it.
the customer shit was only if you're listening to the podcast. Yours was not part of the customer.
Yeah, it's
shit.
only
It was
the other
right.
ones.
Yeah.
It was the other customer.
It was the other one.
Yeah.
Rode an 84 Virago today that I'm like
Was that the
so
1100?
glad to see. It's the 1000 that's
Yeah, the
been here
1000.
forever.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the floats to stop leaking.
Right.
I don't know what we did, but whatever. Gone.
Yeah.
Done.
Sacrificed
Get the fuck out.
Sacrificed a bucket of chicken. We're good to go.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Said a couple voodoo prayers and
Yeah, that thing sat for a long time. Yeah. That was one of those Yamahas from that era when the build quality was exemplary. Like, that thing is truly a jewel. When you look at the gold anodizing that's on it, and the extra time and effort that's put into building that motorcycle, and at the end of the day, it's still
it
just
had
an early 80s Yamaha.
after scouring all the Luke and I both scoured the internet reading about the carburetors. It had the better carburetor. It had the Hitachi
The
brand
Hitachis, yeah.
carbs, which are supposed to be the good ones.
Right.
Man. Anyway,
Still age and the wrong fuel.
sitting forever, man.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Look, this bike sat for 20 years and I woke it up on ethanol. Great. Good for you.
yeah, awesome.
Good job.
Great job. And
Last but not least, Nick, and I have been riding my Vespa because that's all I have left.
because...
What? Did you sell the SP?
Yep, I did.
Oh, and where did you sell the SP?
Mid-Ohio.
And what did you
Well,
ride home? Not the SP.
Not the SP. I rode in a car home.
Oh, really? Good
Yeah,
for
that was
you.
my ride there.
So were you
Nice.
planning on selling it, or did somebody offer you money and you were like, well, I guess I'm selling it?
I mean, I was planning on having a pie plate on the front the entire time. I wasn't expecting somebody to actually buy it.
Did you put the pie plate on it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
it wasn't on it when he saw it and was like, "Is that for sale?"
So you had no
Wow.
pie plate on it
I
at
had
the
no
moment
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
when he was looking.
Yeah. I guess he bought one brand new in 1987, and he wanted another one.
Holy shit.
Did your pocket give you the happy feeling when he left? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Good
so
man.
nice.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
At least you still have the Vespa, too. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want next.
That's how you buy a bike at Mid Ohio compared to the guy that I offered money to for a bike, who did not respond and then did and came back with a higher price and said no. So then he called me yesterday.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, you still interested in that bike? I'll give it to you for the price you wanted to." I was like, "You're in the other side of Indiana. You were
Right.
next to me at Mid Ohio.
Right.
No, I don't want your
I don't.
motorcycle anymore."
Game over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not.
Was he
how
going to
you do it.
deliver?
No, of course not. Come on out.
I took a number of
That's when
bikes
you
down
just
there
say
that
that
were.
offer doesn't stand anymore. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
That was a
Yeah.
limited time offer.
Mid Ohio's over.
That's
That's an
See you next year.
intoxicating. That's an intoxicating fucking like place. You end up
Oh,
wanting everything.
Yeah.
I'd walk past.
So
I had
many
so many
bikes.
moto boners walking around. I'm like, I have to have this. I have to have that. Oh my god, where did that come? How did I miss this? I need that. What is that?
It's a hard place to go, and I didn't buy a cup of coffee this year. Not only did I not buy a motorcycle, I didn't buy 15 dumb pizzas. Like, I bought dinner, I bought a few meals, but literally on property, I don't think the Mid-Ohio event got any of my money. Not because I was trying to be a chiseler. It's just like I felt like a 12-stepper at a Willie Nelson concert. Because, like, if the weed smell in the air didn't get you, the infinite amount of Jack Daniel's sponsorship certainly would.
Yeah.
And there's places that you just shouldn't go. And this is one of those places. And it was fucking difficult for me to keep both hands on my wallet. And I had to have a zero tolerance policy. And as many times as this thing wandered into my life, my unicorn for the show was I was going to have an SL 350 or bigger, right? Or a push-button electric start, awesome 225cc or bigger dirt bike, street legal. So the first unicorn is pretty fucking rare. The second unicorn, well, that could happen at any moment, if you're not careful. Now, we had managed to sell, and I took some absolute turds down there. Some things that really should have been disassembled prior to moving. But we sold everything that I wanted to sell. We got in a pissing match over the CL100. I didn't think it had a title. Come to find out later on, we had a title for it. Well, I was right in the middle of doing a deal with a lady where I had $800 on it. We couldn't get it to start because every one of us here knows that you need a 6-volt battery to make an old Honda run. We didn't happen to have a 6-volt battery in the moment. And honestly, I was too busy drinking and being sunburned to put one in. So I kind of told the lady, look, this bike is as is, whereas you give me $600, you pick it up and you take it home, but I don't want to hear another word. Then I found out it had a title. And I got thinking better of that. And then she started asking me questions about, like, well, if it doesn't run, can we bring it back? And I went,
what?
You're fired.
what? This is Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
You're lucky if there's not a human hand in the gas tank.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck, man? You want a warranty on a 1971 Honda 100? Jesus Christmas. Oh, we got a problem here. So I just kind of realized that she was pulling my chain a little harder than I like to have it pulled at Mid-Ohio. And I was busy selling raffle tickets and stuff. So I realized that talking to her was causing me to miss raffle ticket sales. So I was like, she's cutting into the profit margin. I'm not happy about this. So I told the lady, look, I'm going to default to basics. Ohio law, not Mid-Ohio rules. Ohio law is as is, where is, unless otherwise implicitly stipulated in writing.
Right.
So the bike is as it is. Forget anything I say, because that doesn't matter anyway. You're buying the bike as is. Well, my husband's a mechanic. Well, where's he?
Yeah.
He was here an hour ago, and he sent you back again to negotiate without himself? That's not a good sign. So I said, if you're not okay with that, but don't give me $600 and come back here expecting to get a penny of it back, because you have it. It's art if it's so deemed such. And then I got pissed, and I just walked up to the bike and I yanked the pipe plate off the front. I was like, it's not for sale anymore. She's like, what? It's not for sale anymore? And I went, it may be for sale later, but never to you.
Nice.
And she was like, well, and I was like, no. You're the exact type of person I've learned not to sell things to.
Right. You're going to cause me an ulcer, whereas if I don't sell it to you and I still have this bike, I don't have an ulcer.
And I can take it home now that I know it has a title.
Right.
And we can make it run in about 21
And
minutes.
sell it for more.
And we can put it on eBay
and sell it for
and sell it to somebody out of state for
For
$1,500,
twice as much, yeah.
right?
Right.
So, you know what? It is time for you to fuck your hat.
Yeah.
So, we checked. Mickey said the big hand was on the fuck and the little hand was on your hat.
was you were in a kind of a salty mood up there when we did you the whiskey or the booze run. And
Yeah, I was in bad shape.
And that cured you up a little bit. But
I
think,
might have been an alcoholic.
No, but the best part,
Yeah.
So you've talked about your military service in the past, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
sitting
once or
there
twice.
and you're trying to pimp these two military guys out of a
I was
ticket
trying to
for
sell
the
them some
thing.
tickets.
Then all of a sudden, the one guy says something to Phil. He's like, yeah, whatever. Then the other guy utters off some fucking military code words and shit, and all of a sudden his eyes light up. And then they're jerking each other off and kissing and hugging, and an hour later they're still best pals. So what was that all about?
He said 19 kilo.
Yeah.
And 19 kilos an M1 tanker, and that's what I am.
Aha.
So when a 19 kilo runs into another 19 kilo after the obligatory 15 minutes of butt sniffing, we usually have some sort of a relationship, and it was good, and it was nice, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be.
I was about to say it was good to see your mood though go from like probably dealing with that lady.
Yeah, she was the low point of my day.
To hanging out with your tanker buddy.
Right, and once I found out he was a tanker, and that he was a very I'm 49 years old, and he's he was a young buck.
27, 28.
Yeah, right.
But he'd
And
sit
so-
on the other side of the double bed in your.
Yeah, he would fit.
Yeah.
He would fit next to me on the queen size mattress. But yeah, he was. And tankers have slept closer than that. That's considered roomy in a tank.
There you go.
But yeah, so it was fun because there are times when you hit somebody who's chewed the exact same dirt and knows where tank table 10 is and knows Grafenveer and knows Hohenfels and he knows National Training Center and stuff like that. So. He's tasted. He can tell you what the sand tastes like in certain parts of the world.
Well, that was neat. I was standing
Yeah.
there watching, and like you guys were talking, and he was feeling you out too. 'Cause
Oh, he
you
was.
dropped some stuff, and then you knew it and dropped
There's
it back.
there's rules.
And then it was like bam, instant respect. But the best part, which you didn't get to see because you were busy talking to him, was the other dude that he was with. That was the other recruiter.
Yeah.
That basically might as well have been a fucking turd.
Do you know why? 11 Bravo. So he's an 11 Bravo. Now 11 Bravo is what you become in the military when you have no personal creativity.
Oh.
No, it's straight leg infantry.
Oh.
It's 11 Boohoo.
Okay.
It's you are Army. You're a soldier.
Part of the bear.
You're a goddamn
You're a
grunt.
bullet stopper.
You are literally an 11 Bravo. You are a standard issue infantryman.
Just a pawn.
So, I mean, God bless them for making that decision.
Right.
But one, because Lord knows we need 11 Bravos, but we call them track grease. There's not, and if I
We just lost our whole 11 Bravo listenership here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need somebody to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Well, they probably know it already.
Well, maybe if you're a young person, you're thinking about joining the military, and you're thinking, now that recruiter's gonna offer me a hell of a package if I sign up for this 11 Bravo nonsense, whatever it might be. You could take a step back, and you know what? Maybe look into a job that has something you can do when you get out of the military.
Yeah, do better on your entrance tests.
Well, you know what?
Was that MSAT or
Well, they call it ASVAB.
ASVAB? ASVAB, that's
Armed
right.
Services Vocational Skills Aptitude Battery. But the wow, that's old thing I haven't had to call up for a
Well,
long
you
time.
shook that out of the back of your head.
Wow, that was that was pure Indiana Jones shit right there. Yeah,
Random part.
That just tells you I can't remember my mom's phone number, but I got ASVAB down to a science. But yeah, it was really funny to run into another tanker there.
That's cool.
That was cool, and they were in uniform. They were recruiters. So they were recruiters going around. And that's what recruiters do. They visit all these events
and stuff. Yeah.
try to sign people up who look like they're just this far shy of homeless. And so I see you at this motorcycle gig, and you're the only one here not riding a CT70.
Oh.
Yeah. So what do we got to do to get you in the Army, there, son? But yeah, but it was I personally we sold off all the weird shit. I brought home the stuff I didn't want to sell in the long run anyway.
Nice.
So we're happy about that. And really, as usual, met some cool people and had all the shenanigans. Flaming burnout, not a ramp.
Not a ram.
Not a ramp for the people who aren't paying attention to pictures and stuff. Basically, we always bring with us a
ramp.
2x8 sheet of marine, 2x8 sheet of marine plywood or something that's got some flex to it, and it's what I had left over when I built the bunks in the bus. And so I bring those out, and this way we lay them out, and this way if it's too muddy, we can park the center stands up on the wood, and the bikes don't fall over nearly as much, which is cool. But then McElfresh discovered he took the spare wheel out of the camper,
Yep.
and he set the spare wheel out.
Put
We
the
put
quad
the
in, yep.
2x8 sheet of plywood going up to it, it made a respectable little launch ramp. Now, respectable was taken to the extreme edge of the definition by Pete Hempfling on the Ruckus.
Oh yeah.
Because he was victim number one
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that just said, "Oh, didst thou say send it? I'm going to send it from a maximum distance at maximum Ruckus speed units."
Everything that 49 cc's could get.
And it went way further than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
And he also kept it up.
Yeah.
Now, it was a downhill runoff area,
Yep.
which in retrospect is probably not a good idea.
No.
It's gravel and downhill. And it's spectacular
To watch.
to watch people realize they're going way too fast.
Oh shit, downhill.
And there's hundreds of people roaming around in the sense of, what do they call that, the Mid-Ohio haze?
Yeah.
Where, you're trying to bump start a bike, so you need a space to do it, and you're pushing your guts out, or somebody's pushing you, and like some, octogenarian will just fucking wander into your path, because he's like, I haven't seen a pet in 6 days in a long fucking time. But it doesn't disengage his drive system. He just fucking continues to, coast out to sea as he's looking at the pent and getting smaller and smaller behind him. We should have a stop and look policy at Mid-Ohio. Just,
Oh, man.
if you're going to look, stop.
Yeah, the geriatric guys in the golf carts
Yeah.
that were just
Oh,
doing
yeah.
zigzag patterns in the middle of traffic just because exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There before of them, they'd all go, and the cigar smoke would trail off that direction and then that way and then back.
They would catch a shiny object out of their left peripheral, and that thing hooks like it's got a fucking anchor in the ground. And you're like, you're on the inside of the hook. That's not cool at all. They very, very tight swap meet this year. I would not be surprised to find out if they said that they would not allow golf carts or side-by-sides
Yeah.
in the swap meet.
Yeah.
Now, that's counter to their interest, though, because they rent the golf
they were
carts
renting
there
them.
for $100 a day.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is contrary to their interest. But what I did learn is the side-by-sides are a good bit wider than golf carts are.
Yeah.
And so when you get a side-by-side full of Yahoos going through there, it does take up every bit of the lane, which makes it really hard on your average guy with the BMW R1200 GS SSSSSS quadruple bagger extension to get down the aisle.
The other. Okay.
Yeah, we put the bus in there. We put the bus in the middle of the swap meet to load in.
Oh, jeez.
And watching us move that bus through those aisles. Take those aisles, and you saw where our booth was.
Yeah. That,
And remember that we did the bus up and down those aisles, and I mean, we were a blonde one from every bike parked in every corner. And I was using all the mirrors it has on it. Like, those crazy mirrors, you're wondering, like, what are those for? Those are so you don't knock over a black bomber with your bus. So you can hook it right up to the edge of it and then snake it right in. Yeah. But we did.
Those mirrors see into the fourth dimension.
Yes, they do. They do. They can tell you what's going to be there next week in the same spot. The bonsai proof, the yo-yo dime mirrors.
Buckaroo
Bonsai.
Yeah,
Oh,
Only a few people know that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The bonsai yo-yo.
I just
dime
rented
specials.
that a couple weeks ago. On,
Good movie.
Oh, it's
Great
so good.
film.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Do not miss Buckaroo Bonsai.
Yeah.
If you can possibly see it, you should see it.
The other thing they got to do something about is all these little fucking kids on the 100cc dirt bikes, and they can't touch the ground, and they're doing 90. I got T-boned on the buddy by this little fucker. Came
Oh, yeah, I
straight
forgot
out of the
about
thing.
that,
Like
yeah.
I was driving back, and I'm like, "What is that?"
What are you going to do about it? They're feral.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just
like
random.
feral
You
cats.
can spray for them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah.
You could set up little kid traps. You could be like, it's like a little cardboard box.
And get 'em spayed and neutered
with
real
some
quick.
Minecraft shit around it.
Well, that and everyone on a two-stroke had to use all two of the strokes
Oh,
every
boy.
time they went up and down an aisle.
Oh, boy.
It was just,
I
I
will remind
Jesus.
you, we're in the last aisle.
Yeah.
So being in the last aisle is its own special heaven, because any shenanigans at Mid-Ohio happen in the last aisle.
Yeah.
The last aisle of the campsite, and we are permanent residents in the last aisle of the campsite. And a couple of girls that came in from the Chickistan group, they were like, why is it so crazy back there? Like, what the fuck? I was like, honestly, the rest of the campsite is not as bad as it is right here, but we have the last aisle syndrome, and we also have Leuven Moto.
Yeah.
So even when the party's not happening, there's a general state of a party could happen here at any minute.
Yep.
So like at any moment, some shit might set off.
That's what I was having the traditional, like you're camping and you get the stomach gurgles, that,
Yes.
like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I jumped on the buddy and I went all the way across, all the way over to the shower room.
You went to the good bathroom.
Good bathrooms. I'm like,
That's
I
a
can't,
mile and a half away.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't deal with
Right.
the porta potty with this situation.
Right, yeah.
And I couldn't believe how quiet it was.
Yes.
Like you don't
Yeah.
think that it, like I was just like, wow, like you could actually hear crickets and
Yeah.
birds and
When there's no
things.
racing going on.
Yeah,
it's quiet
right.
as heck
We
over
used to
there.
camp in our swap meet spot. So I would buy 2 or 3 swap meet spots, and we'd pull up big trailer in there, or whatever
yeah.
vehicle I had, big van at the time, and we'd set up a little fire, and we'd just have a nice hang. We'd have a nice hang in our camp, in our swap meet spot,
Right.
and we'd have 5 or 6 people would wander over, and we'd sit and bullshit and drink beer and have fire, and we would be talking at this level, and security would come over and tell us to fuck off and be quiet.
What?
Yeah.
And then we like, no, that's no fun at all. So then we sally forth on, whatever running vehicles we had down to the campsite. And then we'd realize the people down there were partying and having a good time. We're like, this campsite business is pretty dialed in.
Yeah.
But then we we left all of our beer back at the swap meet, so we'd have to, sally back. So we'd take whatever vehicle we're running and invariably run into security of some form saying, well, it's after 10 o'clock, you're not allowed to motor about after 10 o'clock. And I'm like, this Bajaj 4-stroke is quieter than the golf cart you're sitting in. Don't tell me I can't do a BWRUN on this quiet fucker. And they're like, no, you're just not allowed to be moving around. I was like, well, all my beers are there,
Right.
and all the fun is there. And unless we can move all the fun to here, those beers are going to need to go there.
Right.
So I can either do this with your permission or make it really weird for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, because you're going to have to chase me around a little bit
On a golf cart.
on a golf cart. And I assure you, this Bajaj can go places that golf cart can't.
And probably
And
faster.
will. And the guy was like, all right, just keep it quiet. And I was like, this has been running the whole time. So keeping it quiet is kind of not an option in my world. Shit's the only speed she knows is quiet. But so yeah, the infield or the camping area is definitely the deal. I did scope out the. Did you and I rode around? We rode around to the backity
Oh, yeah.
back.
Yep.
Like that area back
not
there,
bad.
proper Ewok village, man.
Yeah. But I think I have a
That's
feeling.
shit
I was about to
night,
say I have a
Yeah.
feeling at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
That's
Generators and everything shut down.
That's super quiet.
And people pull out books and they
Yeah.
read. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Start their macrame.
Pipes
Yeah.
come out and-
Yeah. Pipes. Yeah.
with brown stuff in them.
Couple of the
Oh, yeah.
guys, if they're really rowdy, they pull out the single malt. They just sit there sipping.
Sipping on
Talking.
their single malt.
Brandy and
The
shit.
the
Yeah.
sound of their whiskey getting older
Yeah.
is the loudest thing you can hear.
But you know what was interesting when we went back there, and then I went back later on.
Yeah.
There was some interestingly good shit for sale back there that I don't think a lot of people saw.
Oh,
Like that was like the sneaky. Like,
every square foot of Mid Ohio is a swap meet.
yeah, 100%.
Because if you bring it, you plan on selling. it.
Right.
There was as much for sale in the camping area, I swear.
Well, were you with us the one year that we got both of the Honda signs?
Yeah.
We got both of the Honda signs, and we got them within 100 feet of each other, way the hell on the back straight. The guy had lined them up, HONDA, big ass dealership signs, and he'd lined them up, and we went up and we haggled, and we got them for the price we were willing to pay. And then, not 150, 3 days later in the event, not 150 feet away from it, not remotely in the swap meet, the opposite side of the track from the swap meet, another dude showed up, rucked up with these Honda signs, and I was like, I have to buy those too. So I have 2 giant set of Honda dealer signs, big, 3x3 Honda letters.
Didn't the one guy come in a truck bringing
He
one?
delivered them.
Yeah, he delivered.
He fucking delivered them.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, well, we don't get a better deal than that, ever. Yeah, it's
And then
pretty
he
cool.
got that little, the little 125cc race bike off of you.
Yes, I sold.
And he gave the FZR that I ended up with.
Yep, yeah, you got that. Yeah,
He traded that.
The exchanges at Mid Ohio are just so bizarre.
And that was all like 0 hour. We were like
Yeah.
getting the fuck out of
Yeah,
there.
it was truly leaving time.
We're like, well, I guess he's not coming with the sign. And then
Right.
all of a sudden he shows up. And
Right. And that is true. The deals at Mid Ohio happen Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
That's when shit is serious. Like, how much space do I have on my trailer?
But at the
'Cause
same time,
everything up to that, everything up to that is like you're getting what you want by creative pricing.
But that's the thing too, though. Some of the stuff, if you go down there and you want a particular thing, you
Yeah.
might have to pay a few extra bucks, but you can get it. And if
That's
you
right.
don't, like, there was I didn't mess up because I actually love the Green Monster.
Yeah.
But I threw a few bucks at the Green Monster, which took my overall budget down to where I didn't need. I really wanted the TW200. I was going to find something,
Yes, right.
So right after I bought the Green Monster, I'm cruising around on the Green
Yeah.
Monster, and I get out there and I find one for $900.
Was it in one piece?
It was running $900.
Wow.
It was not the
I'm
best.
somewhat
edition.
impressed.
Yeah, it was an old one. It was got to be a 96,
Right.
95. It was an older one.
Yeah.
And it was back in the back swap shop, running, title, the whole nine.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck.
I'm kind of
And then I went back and I was trying to do the math in my head to see if I could pull a couple bucks out of the bank. By
Right.
the time I went back, gone.
Gone.
So
Yeah.
deals like that go, but you're right. Like if you're just willing to take some interesting stuff, I'm sure Sunday is going to be the day.
Yeah.
We sold that the TTR 125L that we worked on the podcast. So the bike that we tore apart, we knocked on the podcast. We knew what was wrong with it. So, and we had ridden it previous year at Mid Ohio. We just were willing to puke all the oil out of it, and we didn't care. So, if it becomes an oil decycling station, so be it. And it was sitting down in the booth, and very quickly, I mean, it took no time. People started hitting my phone. Is this for sale? Yes, it's for sale. How much do you want for it? So I was like, fuck it, I'll swing for the cheap seats. And I think we put $600 on it or
Yep.
something. And the guy was like, I'll give you $400 right now. And I said, you leave your money with the Naked Goldwing Riders Association, not as cool as you're thinking, that were in the booth next to us. You leave your money with them and take that bike and put it on your trailer right now. And he did. And that's how I conducted business all weekend long.
Yeah.
It was
Those guys
like,
are
Through
cool.
the phone.
leave your money with the
the
Naked Goldwing Association, and I'll go pick it up later. They called me on Sunday, and they're like, hey, we got like $700 of your money, and we're packing up shop.
Sweet.
I'll be down.
Yep.
I'll be down post haste. Don't take my money away.
I think I might have some tires to pay for in my future.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was very happy though. I mean, Mid Ohio did what Mid Ohio is supposed to do. It is a place where you can go and buy a project bike for. I mean, if you do, the guy that bought my Yamaha XS 750 is a podcast listener who lives in Chardon, and I was going to abandon it. I was fully planning on leaving it in situ, just like walking away from it. And he gave me $100. I had to bring it back.
Oh,
So
it did. Okay.
So
all week I've been thinking, why didn't you leave that there?
it's sitting there. The only reason I brought it home was apparently I thought $100 was fair pay for transporting it down there and transporting it back.
Yeah. I'd say so.
So there you have it. So he's got to come and pick it up though. I'm not going to deliver it to Chardon. So we'll see when that happens.
So
But, yeah.
besides all the swap shop stuff, did anybody? We got around. Me, Mecklefresh,
Yeah.
and Johnny Chrome and Oscar. We took a ride around and we kind of meticulously went to all the different racing things and
Yeah.
tried to check everything out.
Went to the
Did
pits.
you get a chance to
the
do
whole
anything
thing,
like
yeah.
that?
No.
It's
No.
actually pretty badass.
I watch
man.
the sidecar racing.
Yeah.
I watch
Oh,
sidecar
sweet.
racing.
Yeah,
Which is one of those things I always make it a point to see the sidecar racing.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite deals. I'll usually crawl through the pits and look to see what kind of cool bikes are in the pits. I don't usually sit and watch any actual racing unless it's a particularly big grid.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of weird stuff just happening this year. And then we got tapped in the last minute to do a seminar on Saturday at 3 p.m. on carburetors and fuel injectors. And it was not joking. It was last minute. It was Saturday morning. We got alerted to the fact that we were going to have to give this seminar. And then I talked to you about it, and I talked to Mecklefresh about it. And I got a good group together about, like, with these three guys, we can absolutely do an hour on carburetors. And then these guys got a phone call to go pick up Dustin with a blown tire. Oh, shit, indeed. So only one person showed up at the seminar. Well, except for the 150 people who were in attendance.
I was
And-
outside the tent. It was pretty packed. It was crazy.
You couldn't have put anybody else in there.
No.
And so the woman who runs the seminars for Mid Ohio, she's like, "This is the greatest attended seminar we've had all weekend. People are really into like knowing the difference between certain types of carburetors and fuel injection and stuff like that."
Oh, boy.
And Liza, of course, Liza was the point man on that. So
to speak.
Well, yeah, Uncle Liza's fine with it. So we did this. So she contacted me, and I was like, "Yeah, we can take care of that." And so we had a knock, and Knock and Zach are up there on stage. Liza's up there. Bagel's at the last second somehow mixing the audio and pulling down images to make a ghetto PowerPoint presentation. I'm standing there looking at the crowd. The tent just continues steady, filling up with people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is going to turn ugly when John and anybody shows up at all. Nobody ever. I was like, well, I guess it's just me. And well, I told Bagel, I was like, I need that picture, I need that picture, I need that picture, and I need that picture. And I was like, good. The mic check took longer than all the preparation that I was ready for. And then it was go. And fortunately, we had all of the right people in the tent, and only 2 people, one lady in like the 6th row and one other dude, only those 2 people just kept falling asleep. But everyone else, and then the woman who runs the thing, she comes up, and what's the last thing she says as I'm getting on the plane to Fuck You Island? As I'm boarding the plane to Fuck You Island, she says, and remember, no swearing. So you took my net, and now you took my trapeze.
Yeah.
Don't expect me to be entertaining if I can't curse.
Well, you must have did something right because people were walking out saying that was pretty good. That was all right.
Oh, the one guy was asking me for my autograph while the short fella jerked me down. Yeah. They were very happy with the results, and I had to read the crowd. You saw me ask everybody in the audience, who here only owns carburetors?
Right.
Who here only owns fuel injection?
Yeah.
And who can go both ways, right? And because I wanted to know, like, if I just started shitting all over fuel injectors or vice versa, if there was going to be an uprising.
What the numbers were. Yep.
Yeah. And it turned out it was pretty good.
You wanted to be on the winning team.
Right. Always good to be on the winning team
So
when
was
you're
it
standing
even?
at the
Was
microphone.
it,
was actually it was a fairly good mix, probably one of the last times it'll be a fairly good mix. Because, well,
Are you talking about carburetors?
I'm talking about carburetors because, right, as anybody who works on them knows, your days are numbered. Don't want to be that guy, but unless you start making your own gas in the backyard.
Yes, 1980s technology has called, and it really wants to
Ethanol's a bit of an
be
asshole.
a standard now.
Yeah, ethanol sucks. But it was fun. We had a good seminar that went well.
And then, fortunately, right when you got done, right down the street there was the Columbus Brewing Company that had a wonderful 9.8% IPA.
That shit, I drank scotch that wasn't as rowdy as that was.
I brought Phil a couple
Sleepy
of
comes
those.
back with one of these beers that's in like this very non-intimidating pink can.
Pink can.
Looks all like, I'll just pound this fucker back real quick. Took one drink of it, and I was like, oh my. Well.
Then we had another,
Yeah, we did.
as you do.
Yeah. Oh, I had to ride with one. I was riding the V7 race, or the V7 Scrambler, and I didn't want to give it up because I had half a beer left. So I did the trick where you pull the tab and you hold it with your teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I rode with the beer tab in my teeth, holding the can. And as soon as I get the thing rolling, my clutch hand was free. I take a big sip of it, and then I went past the sheriff's, and I went, Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, they don't care.
I literally just had a beer in my mouth.
Yeah.
There's a big old 9.6%
While
beer
riding a motorcycle.
in my mouth, spilling on my face like I'm like Happy Bukkake guy, right? And I just passed the sheriff who's waving me going, I hate you, fuck. I got to wear all this polyester and 90-degree day, and you're riding a
This is
motorcycle.
private property, great, yes.
Fuck you. I'm going to kill you when you leave here. I'm going to be waiting outside with a baseball bat.
And then right after that, we got to witness Sleeveless Guy. Remember Sleeveless Guy in the
Dude.
mini bike races?
My God.
Sleeveless
yeah.
Guy. He ruled, man.
This guy's hanging out with a big quad, just doing his thing, and it's devil-may-care pit bike races. And I didn't realize it'd gotten so popular, because last year we saw pit bike races. It was kind of like, they literally went into the pits and said, if you have a pit bike and you'd like to race it, you must have a helmet.
Yeah.
But come over here, we've just kind of cordoned off this little area with ruts and stumps and shit. Go at it. Now, this year, it was
We're
game
all
on.
in,
There were
yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bikes,
Yep.
in all potentially different classes.
Yep.
And that guy was sitting on a quad with his wife, wearing the best could be described as an old Moto shirt with the sleeves cut off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was every bit of, 59 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Had the appropriately sized beer gut and just had a life to live
Yep.
and beers to drink. And next thing I know, he's like, well, this is my heat.
Yeah.
This is your heat. Whoa, dude. This is your heat. you have been previously engaged in a drinking competition with your old lady on the back of this Honda 9000 Ranchero. Yeah. And literally the back deck of this fucking giant quad was nothing but beer coolers.
Yeah.
It was.
And I was like,
They brought the quad for the beer.
well, clearly, because
Yeah.
you don't carry a cooler that far. You don't carry that size cooler. But he was like, gotta go, baby. I'm on. And he went out and proceeded to not lose.
Yeah.
Just by one place.
Yeah.
But he not lost in style.
He did.
Yeah. We were spraying water on everybody.
Yeah.
So you come through our turn, you're going to get wet. Yeah. Like,
Oh, I was throwing beer at him. You guys. Were
well,
doing
later
water.
in the
Yeah, we're just throwing whatever.
shout out from the announcer for being like, oh, you got to watch that turn 19.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. A little wet in turn 19. The crowd's pretty excited. They're like, yeah, come in.
It was a lot of fun.
Garden hose right to the face.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a good time. And
Yeah.
that's that. And then the barrel racing as well. That is that
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
We're going to say it again about Mid-Ohio. It is fucking mayhem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it has the letters AMA in front of it. Because for
Yeah.
too long, motorcycling has been like, oh, it's sterile, or it's cool, but it's not cool, or you're pretending to be tough, or whatever. You know, fucking. There's never been an episode of Sons of Anarchy that was as rowdy
Oh, no.
as any of the 3 days of Mid
Well,
Ohio.
that's the thing I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So, there had to be what 30,000 people. You think?
I have no
30,
idea.
40,
A whole lot
Let's
of
just say
fuckers.
a lot of people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And no disrespect to the Harley crowd, but it was probably 1% Harley. And the
Yeah.
thing is that
And we're not talking the 1%.
no, and the thing is that
No.
there was no defining style. So like, I mean, you saw some hipsters, you saw some hillbillies, you saw some guys in Gucci,
Young
whatever,
kids,
young kids,
older
old
crowd,
kids,
yeah.
all this, but nobody
More
was wearing like the
hillbillies.
subscribed.
more hillbillies.
And more hillbillies.
But there was no subscribed costume. Nobody was wearing
No.
the leather jacket with the
Right.
dot-approved headband and
No,
all
no,
that
no.
kind of stuff.
That was the only place where I've ever seen a Harley rider riding next to a BMW rider, and the Harley rider was in more gear.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The only crash I saw the entire weekend that broke out the meat wagon was heading down the main road. So from the entranceway down towards
Yeah.
the swap meet, when we were clearing out,
Well, that was Sunday,
we had the
yeah.
bus on Sunday,
Yeah, yeah.
and a lady on a full bagger, FLH, RTP, ABC, had laid it out. And so she was. They managed to get her up on a gurney already, and they had the bike upright. That's the only thing I saw that wasn't racetrack oriented.
Right.
That involved the use of an ambulance.
Right. It's sad. Like, so I can't think of the gentleman's name, which sucks because he deserves a mention. But I guess on Saturday, the one guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I displaced his name, and I would have been better at retraining it. But yeah, he did die. He had suffered a coronary going into turn one.
Right.
On his Honda Super Hawk.
But what I'm about to say is, if I could choose a way to leave this planet,
Yes.
racing a motorcycle, heading into a straightaway with your throttle wide open,
Yeah.
is
Have
what
a
you
heart
wanna
attack
do.
and have a coronary.
And then not even wreck right there. You make the straightaway.
No, made this straight.
Yeah.
He might have died. Who knows where he died?
Yeah.
Point being,
Well, the gyroscopic effect kept the bike.
he may have died
And listen, this is no disrespect to the guy. Like, we're not
No,
like
no,
this.
no.
in
This
the hot
is
pits.
bad.
He made it.
Total respect, man.
This is like bad. Like, listen. If I'm gonna
Honestly.
die, that's how I want to do
Yeah.
it. I'm thinking about taking up racing just so I can do that.
Just to
Yeah,
make
I didn't
yeah.
hear what actually
a
happened.
good
So
out.
that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what
yeah,
happened.
He had a
I heard
coronary
through the
use
speakers when they were calling
on
out
a
that
Honda
someone,
Super Hawk, an
like,
old
yeah,
vintage motorcycle, and and was in the passionate throes of racing.
Yeah.
Lifelong AMA member, been racing
Right.
vintage bikes for like 40 years. Like solid dude, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Been racing vintage bikes since they were new.
Yeah.
Or we like to say,
When they weren't vintage.
literally raced his whole life.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right until the end.
That's the way to go.
And that's it. And like I said, hey, whether you believe in the afterlife or not, he's got a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He took
Well, then
podium.
his bike sold on Sunday.
Yeah, his bike's all the time.
Too
Yeah.
soon.
Too soon.
The guy who wasn't there.
I don't think
yeah.
so. I made an offer. They're rolling him in. I was like, look, I'm just going to do enough
He's not going to
CPR.
need his bike anymore.
I'm just going to get enough CPR. He can sign the title.
Wait, the guy wasn't there?
Who
You
that?
sure? Because
What?
I mean, I saw that on the track during the lap. I thought it was.
We were taking bets on whether or not that was
Dude,
true.
Indian wearing all
I'm
safety
like,
gear.
It's
And in contrast to that,
sure that's not Chris.
that dude's wearing riding an Indian with all the safety gear, and Bex was out in a bikini top. because that was the lap of history. The lap of history was taking safety as a secondary suggestion.
Right.
You had to have a helmet.
You had to have a helmet.
No. I was going to do it, but I ended up having my wife go. I had to go.
Yeah.
Whatever. But you have to have closed-toed shoes, which Crocs qualify as closed-toed shoes.
Damn.
Long pants
Okay.
and a helmet.
Okay. Well, Bex was
And a shirt. Long sleeve. No,
She
no,
was
no,
wearing a
no,
bikini top.
Yeah, bikini.
And a
okay.
tutu.
in a tutu.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She did a lap of history, and literally on Mid Ohio, wearing a tutu.
Right.
And a bikini top.
Me, Chrome, and McElfresh and Oscar went, and we were taking bets on who was going to go down. We were hoping so bad. We were sitting there because there's a few guys.
It was the
like,
last corner, right?
Yeah, the last corner. We were sitting there. We're like, this dude's in. He's in. This guy's going in. But now
I've done a few. I've done a few parade laps. I've done a few promotional laps. I've done a few of these things. And usually, how they run the thing is, we're going to do a lap of history, which means you get at least 3 laps.
Oh,
right?
they were
that's
at
what-
least
yeah, they were
3 or
doing
5
three.
or something.
Historically speaking,
Yeah.
you get your money's worth. And usually, they'll bring out one of the Audis or one of the Hondas or one of the other
Yep.
safety cars,
Yep.
and they'll say, "All right, folks, I know you're all riding these high-powered motorcycles and everything else, but remember, under no circumstances ever are you allowed to pass the safety car. If you pass the safety car, you will immediately be ejected from the event." Okay? Now, here's what you know. You're like, that's a Honda Civic. The day I can't get around a Honda Civic on Mid-Ohio is the day I hang up my shit. And then you realize the guy driving the Honda Civic has 93 million laps in Mid-Ohio. And there ain't nobody who's figured out a way to get around that track better in a Honda
him.
Civic
Yeah.
than that guy.
Yeah.
Right. So you can go ahead and bring your A game there, Johnny Starboy. When you get out there in that third lap and he opens it up, and he will
Yeah.
open it up, and you all saw what he did in the third lap.
Oh, yeah.
He created some space, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He made all these people who were like, I'm going to get on there in my 1979 CBX and really pin it to the fucking stops. No, you're not. You're not. You're never going to catch that dude in the Honda Civic. I'm sorry, dude.
You saw some people come into some turns not knowing race
basically
lines. And all of a sudden
Stig
really
They were
start
going
figure
all the
shit
way
out.
I
to
watched some people
Yeah.
close the door pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
I'd be like, look at me, I'm fuck. I saw 3 people run into the kitty litter.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
you ran into the kitty litter on a fucking spectator lap.
The best was
hilarious.
you got one dude.
Yeah.
These like hipstery dudes in their perfect gear.
Yeah.
One dude's like he's like riding. He's got his duck lips. He's like, remember? And the other guy's got his phone. He's like,
Oh, he's
yeah, he's doing
He's
it.
filming the other guy?
In a turn, and they're doing like
Yeah.
20.
I guess
and then
we know who the
behind
pitcher
them-
catcher is there.
Behind
yeah.
them, there's like
Yeah.
50 guys going 70, and they're all heading into the apex of the turn, and we're like, oh, this is going to get real
This is gonna be
interesting real
awesome.
quick.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
somehow people passed him, and it didn't
Posey
end up bad.
McPoserson and
Oh,
his camera
oh,
phone
yeah.
are literally coming in mild
Yeah. The dude had
with
a leather
a fleet
helmet
of people behind him.
with his leather helmet.
With
They
his leather
allowed a
helmet.
leather helmet.
Well,
It counts.
Darwin writes his own rules.
Yeah, it happens occasionally.
Fair
but
game.
what about the bazooka or Bozuka?
Bosu bike.
Yeah,
Bazooka-
that dude
Bazooka
rocked.
ride?
He was killing it.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, he was all right on the track.
I'm just for those events, for everything that is the spectacle of that event. The only reason I will not participate on them in those events is the other 160 motherfuckers. And that's my reason. My reason is exactly what you're talking about.
All right.
The second that I think, oh, look, we're going to move along at a spirited pace.
Yeah.
This will be exciting. And then I'm like, wait a second. I'm riding a bike I brought to Mid-Ohio. That's never a good thing. Or I'm buying a bike I bought at Mid-Ohio, which is even a worse thing.
It had brakes at 10 miles an hour, but doesn't
Yeah.
have brakes at
Yeah.
50 miles an
No
hour.
way. And then all the Johnny Lightning fuckers
Yeah.
are going to be like, well, there goes the pace car. It's my job to stay with that guy. And then you realize real quickly, you could be in a GSX-R 600. You're not keeping up with that pace car.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's making a point there. He's saying, so you want to go fast on Mid-Ohio. You didn't pass a Civic, fucker. You know? Remember that time you went balls out on Mid-Ohio and didn't catch a silver Honda Civic?
Right.
With,
The
shagged out
four-cylinder,
tires?
non-SI.
Oh no, those are just Civics. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, make no mistake, that's all driver.
Yeah.
That's all a guy who's been around that track a couple times.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. I couldn't every year. It's a spectacular. My favorite thing though is joining the Mid-Ohio Facebook page and watching all the haters fill the internet with vile venom after the event. Well, they didn't empty the bathrooms enough.
Oh,
They didn't knock the dust down enough.
you got to see the barber, the barber things coming up in Atlanta or
Yeah.
wherever the hell it is, South Carolina.
It's Alabama.
Alabama, right? Yeah.
Alabama.
And,
Dustin and I know that territory real fucking well.
But those guys,
Bama.
and nothing against that show. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful show. But a lot of the guys that attend that show expect a certain level of everything.
Yeah.
And so you should see the bagging going on of all the pictures, just showing all the different stuff. They're like, oh my, it never happened.
That would never happen at Barber. And that's why I'm not always at Barber.
Right,
But
right.
I'm always at AMA.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear why they closed the barrel races? I think was it on Friday or Saturday?
Why did they close it?
Yeah,
It had turned into
a fucking shit show.
a shit show.
Oh, there was broken collarbones and things. And
Barrel racing.
Yeah, because I saw the
There was drunk
ambulance and
guys
there
on
were
little
some
green
some.
mini bikes.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah,
Who
fucking-
pulled my spark plug, by the way? Fucking guy.
I think Michael Fresh might have helped you out on that one.
Yeah. I only have one Tusion or something.
Right.
left. All right.
I did 3 laps of the barrel racing on the V7 on the Scrambler.
Whoa.
I was like,
fuck?
I'm driving. And there's not.
There were a lot of bikes.
There's not too many people on it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the barrel racing is like, it's the worst idea ever.
it's
It's a racetrack.
a loop.
A
No,
bumpy.
it's a bumpy loop on grass that's never closed.
Right.
And
Right.
barrel racing, well, there happen to be some barrels involved.
Right.
Right. They're scattered out there, and you can go around them or in
And
them or
it's-
figure eight them, and it's all canted. It's on the wrong side of a hill.
Right.
And I went out and I gave it one. I gave it like I was wearing my motocross boots because turns out I broke my ankle
Band camp.
at band camp.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
not even
Oh,
Mid Ohio.
oh,
Band,
really?
band camp.
Yeah,
2
my
weeks
ankle's been
before.
bothering me from the day I got back from band camp. Like, band camp, I took a little tumble and, was riding 2 up and took a tumble, and the bike came down on my ankle and didn't really want to give it any time because the person I was with was a little more fucked up than I was. So I took a back seat on the whole licking my wounds thing. But then, like, coming home, this ain't so good. And then for the next week at work, I was like, it's a little bit sharp, man. This pain's a little kicking. So I, rubbed alcohol on it from the inside and did all the good stuff. Elevated it. All the shit that you do to treat an injury. And it still hurt. So going into, and then loading the bikes up and shit for Mid-Ohio, every time I get in and out of the bus, jumping out of the back and stuff,
Yeah.
it was not cool. So I took my big old heavy-duty ridiculous motocross boots, and those things got structure.
All right.
So I
a couple
took
extra
the-
buckles.
Yeah, I had that
That's a
shit
cast.
locked
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
So I felt like Johnny Thunders down there. There's nothing I could do wrong. I mean, I was like, my legs were strong,
Yeah.
and then I had
Short.
the beer was working and things like that. And I went past that whole barrel racing thing, and I was like, well,
That looks fun.
we're here. And so I did a couple of laps, and I realized just how dangerous that thing is because,
yeah.
like, just when you come out of a barrel and you're like, okay, I should stick it.
Then you go
Just hit it
downhill.
right in the guts.
Yep.
And I go out of the corner and I stick it in the guts and realize the next 200 feet are just like ruts,
Oh, yeah.
like gopher holes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make the goddamn thing hook up. My arms, I did 400 push-ups in 29 seconds. And after 3 laps of that shit, I was like, this is for children and real men. I'm going back to the campsite.
I can verify 100% what you're talking. I took the Green Monster down there, and I was going to do the
Oh,
same
you mean the
thing.
rigid with too much air in the tires?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I took it down there, and not only that, it has a quarter-turn throttle with a 7-horsepower motor on this little thing.
No, it's a 212 cc
212
motor.
cc, yeah.
I argue that, one, there is no way to measure horsepower from the factory in China.
Okay.
Okay.
How about it's just fucking fast?
It's 212 cc's and it's way too fast.
Yeah.
212?
Oh, yeah.
212
cc's.
What?
Yeah. And it has a quarter-turn throttle.
Right.
So
it's a light
with no
switch.
suspension, and
Yeah.
it's tiny. So I made it.
And about 100 psi in the
How
tire.
come
Yeah,
I didn't
way too
write
much
that
air.
thing?
Yeah. So I went around, and I was there was like, for some reason there was like 800 people riding
Right.
when I went there, and so I was going, and I'm doing all right. It's got power, and I'm doing a thing, and
Yeah.
I came around the backside, and exactly what you were talking about. I hit those ruts,
Jesus Christ.
but I was trying to hold on.
No.
And you can imagine with a quarter-turn throttle.
Faster,
it was nasty.
It was awful.
I couldn't believe I made it to the end.
Yeah.
And as I was coming to the end, I said, "Move!" And everybody just cleared the way. And I just did a runoff.
Just run it right out. Run it right out.
Oh shit!
Oh, it was fucking awful.
I love that little thing, by the way. I'm gonna get. Did you get a torque converter for yours?
I did.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm putting a torque converter on that sucker, man.
That doesn't need that.
No, it's not going
Oh.
to change that.
It'll smooth it out.
I disagree. I think it's going to be exactly what it is.
Really?
I wrote it. It is doing
Flip
exactly
over
what it should do.
backwards.
Yeah. All right.
But it should be
get a
doing
regular
it.
throttle for it.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be doing it
Yeah.
with 20 less PSI and
Yeah.
4 inches of suspension.
Yeah.
Which it has neither of.
No.
I mean, you can lower the tire pressure, but you can't build suspension into that thing. So
No.
it's always going to be a wicked
But
ride.
I did for $35 on a website. I found a hydraulic disc brake, so that's gonna happen.
I didn't have a problem with the rear brake. I could lock it at will.
Well, there is no front brake.
No,
so,
but I'm
yeah.
saying I didn't have a problem with the
Yeah,
rear
but
brake.
I think a hydraulic will be.
I
nicer.
locked that sumbitch anytime I wanted to.
Yeah, no, you can. But
Yeah.
You want to do stoppies though?
yeah.
Oh, that was. I mean, oh god,
He's
that
gonna
bike
go
is so
stunt.
dangerous.
Mini
Yeah.
bike stunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we first got there and saw that bike, I was like, "Oh, a mini bike," and then I was like, "That's a very, very big motor
Yeah.
for that very tiny bike."
I was walking
Very
around.
big, brand new Harbor Freight motor.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, I really need something to ride around because there's too much to see here. My buddy's not coming for a while, and I wanted to buy something. And this dude had it sitting there, right,
Yeah.
brand new, built. Like, so I started talking to the guy. The guy's name was Chris, really nice guy.
Right.
And he tells me, he's like, "This is how much I got into it. This is how much I want." I'm like, "Well, that's too much, whatever." And we're talking. I'm like, "But tell me about it." So he tells me, he's like, "Yeah, I just built it. I build these things all the time.
Right.
I started to build them for my kids, or my grandkid, whatever. But they almost killed themselves, so now I just give them to my friends." I was like, "All right."
Fuck them.
So he's like,
Because who needs friends?
yeah. So he's like, "I put this thing together. The motor's got 15 minutes on it. The frame's got, it's brand new. It's a brand new bike."
Right.
So I made him an offer.
I'm going to give you one guarantee: there ain't a bearing in it.
Right, yeah. So, but he was like, I made him an offer. He's like, I can't do it for that much. I'm like, all right. So I went back and I sat down. He came over later. He's like, "Yeah, it looks like you're kind of bored." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll do it for that much." I was all right. He's like, "I supposed to see." So for the rest of the day, I was cruising all over the place, right?
Oh, yeah.
He comes back later and dropped off like a
yeah.
mirror, a chain, and all this
Chain,
other stuff.
yep.
He's like, "You're using it. I didn't think you'd ride it. Nobody rides these things. This is awesome."
Nobody rides these things.
He was a cool dude. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
the rest of the night, everybody, when all the California cats showed up and stuff,
Yeah.
I said, have you mistreated yourself in any way lately? I said, "Have you been terrified in any way?" No? And it was dark. And I said, "Put this headlamp on and just ride this."
Yeah.
Everybody left and came back with the biggest smile on their
man.
face.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where you can tell when somebody's ridden that bike afterwards.
Yeah.
They don't have underwear anymore because they had to use them to wipe their ass.
Yeah.
I rode
they
it over.
shit themselves on that bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rode it over to the swap meet,
Yeah.
and in those big ass rocks back there,
Yes.
the camping area,
Oh,
with the overinflated tires, I was like, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm
gonna eat shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
I am
guarantee
going
it.
to wipe out. I had my feet down going through the rocks going up to the camping area. I'm like, nope, feet are staying down.
Yeah, that area. was
Because with
sketchy.
that quarter turn throttle, you're
Sketchy.
like,
But why do you love it? It's such a fun bike. Like, what makes the terrifying little bastard so fun?
It's like a fucking pissed off Rhodesian Ridgeback. The best way I can describe it is it's just the angriest bad dog fed meth. But in the most like look, it's green and it's adorable little mini bike.
Yeah.
And mini bike immediately by default, mini bike means like, oh great.
your
Yeah.
10-year-old's gonna ride it.
Cool. And this, I'm going to be another big dumb guy at Mid Ohio. But meanwhile, that thing was a chain stretcher. I mean,
Yeah.
And the weird part is that there's a stage 2, 3, and
Oh,
4
my
kit.
Oh yeah, I heard
available
that.
for thing.
Yeah.
yeah, all those things are bad ideas
Yeah.
because you should never stress that Chinese motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I heard they're bulletproof though. Guys have beat the
Really?
shit out of them.
Really?
Dude,
Yeah.
Harbor Freight,
Yeah.
insert
Solid.
anything.
Right.
Dude, I'm telling you, go, because everything online is obviously true.
Right.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And Harbor Freight, the multi-billion-dollar company, probably doesn't have a reputation management software team.
Right. But
Yeah.
but if you blow it up, it's $119 to replace the motor. So at the end
This
of
is
the day,
the point.
Yep.
That's
Never,
yeah.
ever.
do make a 308 horse or 308
Oh,
cc
God.
version of it.
Once
too, by the way.
again,
Just saying.
never deprive an American for the opportunity to make the bad decision 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Yeah. There's a reason NASCAR has very simple rules. Turn left.
Right.
That's it. Right. If you don't get it right this time, turn left. Yeah, you can do it again.
So next year you're gonna put in the truck then.
Oh yeah, that thing's. I'll never sell that thing. I'm telling you right now. No. That'll be a permanent fixture of
No,
anything that we
that
go
thing-
to forever.
I predict
And now
that
you
you're
have
going to make it.
And now
to,
I have a trailer,
But
so-
it'll fit in your back seat.
Oh, yeah. You really need a trailer for that thing?
Yeah, you don't need a trailer.
It
For
would,
that.
it would be
The
funny.
side
though.
seat.
Why didn't you do the lap of history with
That's what I
it?
was gonna. Yeah.
Oh, I had to leave.
You hate a bail on.
Okay.
I did. I had. It was. It's a whole family thing, and like here's the thing. I left with and I got no grief for being gone for the amount of time it was, and I made it home when I was supposed to, and now it's not a stain on my reputation of going back to Mid-Ohio.
This is very important.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is very important.
So-
As I mentioned, we did have a winner for the raffle bike.
Oh man!
So everybody in the podcast has some skin in the game.
And it wasn't me and Oscar.
It was not. In fact, the winner of the bike bought a singular ticket.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And the winning ticket was picked as it should be by a young man who had purchased no tickets. Your son. I told
No
your son.
dog in that hunt whatsoever.
I told Luke, I was like, now, Luke, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but people love to call shenanigans on raffles. It's like a sport.
Yeah.
So when you put your hand in there and you mix that up, you make sure your hand doesn't come out until it's holding but one ticket.
Right.
Don't hold two. Don't bring out any extras with you. Make sure your hand comes out clean and it's only holding one ticket.
Nothing sticking there anywhere.
And he
else.
went from being like, this is going to be fun to like, this is
Oh,
involving
shit.
stress and rules.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it is.
It's all on
And you
video.
were like, Andrew, we're
I
going
do
to
have-
videotape
I do
it.
have
video.
And it's all on video. So, Andrew, we're not going to release your last name on the podcast, but he's from Australia. And so he did buy a ticket. The funny thing was, I looked at his PayPal receipt and he said that, so when I win this, you're going to deliver it to Australia for me, right? And I was like, and then when I talked to him, finally made contact with him, we emailed him immediately, let him know he was the winner. And then when I made telephone contact with him over what sounded like a very long piece of string and two tin cans, that's what I told him. The phone kept cracking. I was like, pull your fucking can tighter. And but he, I said, if the offer's on, man, you'll pay for shipping. I'd be happy to deliver it for you. But he did some research and he looked it up, and it's nigh impossible to import a modern street legal motorcycle into Australia from the United States if you choose to retain its status as a motorcycle and your ability to ride it.
And convert to right-hand drive.
Son of a bitch!
Damn it.
Have to relocate the kickstand to the other side.
Yeah.
Move the sidecar. But he's a really cool guy, and so I think what he's going to do is he's going to put the thing on eBay.
U.S. only sale.
Yeah. So he's going to put it on eBay because I did give it a look, and it's devastatingly difficult to try and get that bike into Australia. And the chance of losing it in the process, the chance of losing it in customs is pretty good. So nobody wants that to happen. So I think what he's going to do is we're going to pop it up on eBay for him. We'll take a bunch of pictures and explain the situation so nobody calls shenanigans or calls foul. You know, it's his bike. He can do what he wants with it. So good, more power to him because that's fucking great, man. You know, that's the coolest thing in the world to participate in a raffle to begin with. But then
He's a listener
he's a listener. He didn't buy the ticket because we forced him to at Mid-Ohio.
from Australia.
Right, exactly. He's a listener from Australia, which is even cooler. So that's super duper cool. So that's cool. He can tell his kids about the time he won a motorcycle in America.
Well, and hopefully he gets enough money to buy a respectable bike that is in the Australian market.
right.
That he can, exactly, that he can have at home.
Well, this
So-
is cool because it'll be an ongoing saga.
It will be an ongoing
you
saga.
can
We'll be
hang
able
out
to
with
figure
this
out
guy.
what's going on.
And we need
so
pictures from this dude. We need to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And,
I'm gonna
Wherever he
list,
buys with the money.
I'm
he
going
goes
to
buy
pop it up
another
on eBay
motorcycle.
next week, and we'll just see what happens. We'll pimp it on our pages and stuff like that. We'll give the guy the best possible exposure we can give him because he's a podcast listener. Why shouldn't we?
Yep.
And so we'll make sure we can stretch his auction out to as many people as we can, get him as much as we can for it. So that'd be great.
We won't tell his wife.
Yeah. I've had a lot of that this week. People are like, I don't know, I was going to buy this bike, but I had to tell my wife and everything else. I'm like, really? Come on. Come on.
Okay.
You need to have a girlfriend for a while. Your wife will forget about this buying motorcycles business. Yeah.
When you were selling your Suzuki, I sent a picture to my wife. She's like, "Can I ride it too?" And I'm like, "I can't afford it." She's like, "Figure it out."
Oh,
Oh,
figure it out. That's hilarious. Figure it out. You make that shit happen,
Yeah.
damn it. Steve, you don't come back without that bike.
Right?
You were gonna sell the green Suzuki?
Yeah.
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Well, he had the. I
I
don't
had
really
a
want
pie
to.
plate on the back of Luke's head for half a day.
Chrome had the. I really don't want to sell this, but if you give me this much money,
Right.
I will sell it to you.
Yeah,
at the price
there
of
was
it.
a lot of that going
Did
on.
it say
man.
bill of sale only on Luke's head?
Yeah, no title. Yeah. The I did see a number of people looking at your chopper.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! That's
Including
But
the
what
guy
was the
that
best?
built
Yeah,
it.
what was the best story of the day? This guy comes over.
Supposedly, this guy comes over and he goes that. One time he tells the truth and then he stretches it, but he says
Right.
my father built the bike,
Yeah.
and he said he was about 10 to 12 years old,
Right.
and then from that point on forward, it was like we did this and we did that. And
Okay.
thinking back on it, it's like you didn't do nothing if you were 12 years
Well, you're
old.
10 years old.
But
Hey,
anyway,
who
the
knows?
story was the pop build the bike,
Yeah.
bought the frame out there,
Really?
Yep, in the
Truck and
90s.
home? Yeah.
and the frame and the front end both were purchased at Mid Ohio supposedly.
Man.
They jumped through the hoops and got it titled in Ohio. Went by the 75. The thing that the one thing that makes me think the guy is legit.
Yeah.
Because like everything he said, he could have meandered by our camp area,
Yeah.
looked at the bike,
I meant
remembered a few things.
Chrome chopper, yeah.
Yeah, he
Right.
could have. But the one thing that makes me think he may have been legit was he didn't ask me where I got. He just goes, "Did you get it out of Maryland?"
yeah.
Really? Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like,
You know something. Yeah.
I got it out of Pennsylvania. He
Yeah.
goes, funny looking at I said,
Yeah.
but the guy I got it from, driver's license, and the
Right.
Oh,
front
yeah.
of the title did say Maryland on it. He's like,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
because when we sold it, it went to like Cumberland, Maryland, or something
Okay.
like
But
that.
he also was telling you about the front end, like when you're talking about
He
the
was
Columbus.
and again, that could be just bullshit, though.
Huh.
I mean,
Yeah.
But that's pretty specific. I mean,
Yeah, the
to know
Maryland
where
road
it came.
sounds-
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, he had a 1 in 50 guess, really.
yeah,
If
pretty
we
much.
take Alaska and Hawaii out of it, it's 148.
Pretty much. I mean,
You went right to the middle of the alphabet.
But,
Maryland,
Really?
yeah, supposedly
Yeah.
it's the guy that the dad built it or whatever, and it had
cool.
this kind of had a 6-bed handlebars on it. It used to have a big tall a sissy bar on it.
Which that
Uh,
looks legit because it looks like it was
Oh, you
ground
can
off
see
and
where it's
stuff.
been
yeah,
cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from the guy, so
Well, hey.
you know
Hey, man, the best laid plans at Mid Ohio don't
That
ever
and,
necessarily
you know,
come to fruition. Yeah.
that and a good bit of repetitive motion will get you a handful of stickiness.
Exactly. Right.
mean-
You're not going to get. There's no guaranteed payoff at Mid Ohio.
I mean,
That's
I'm
one of those things that I've had many people tell me.
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm going to come back and buy that bike. I'm just going to get the money.
You know,
Sure.
I'm not holding my breath, and I am going to take some of the dough that I've got stashed. I'm going to
Yeah.
put tires on it. And
Sure.
Probably get rid of that hideous exhaust. And
So
good thing McElfresh is near to wrestle me, but I'll probably put a Panco on it.
Right. Because starting's a good thing. Yeah.
Box the points up and give it to him for Christmas.
Motorcycles that run are so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially ones you got to kick.
it's been 5 solid days since we were all at Mid Ohio, and how
Yeah.
many people are still pulling dirt out of shit?
The bus sold, and for the record, the bus sold with at least 200 pounds of Mid Ohio in it. The amount of dirt.
everything was so dusty, man.
My Tundra, and both my Tundras.
Yeah.
Both my Tundras will never be their factory color ever again. They both look like they came back from Iraq. They're both,
It's-
they're just covered. Everything I owned, all the sleeping bags, all the tents, everything. I just threw them down the back stairwell into the basement so they could be clean and whatnot. And when I did that, they impacted in like the pig pen cloud. And it's just Mid Ohio.
Yeah.
And I was driving the bus over here. I had to gut the bus to sell it, and the amount of debris that went into my eyes, my nose, and my mouth driving a completely empty bus is really says a lot about how fucking dirty Mid Ohio is. It's dirty.
Where'd the bus end up?
I sold it to a fellow who lives locally who's going to make a camper out of it. And I sold it exactly 2 tires too late. If I'd have driven it home on the on the state routes instead of the hardball, we might not have lost those 2 recaps, but we lost 2 tires within 20 miles of each other, and it's epic when a tire that big blows up. You do poop a little bit. I don't care what you've been through. When you hear that first one go off, you're like, the shit just can't help but jump out of your butt. And for everybody else in the bus too. And and for the guy behind you on the motorcycle, because Henry was following us.
Oh shit!
So Henry was following us on the bike, and Knock was behind him in the brown Tundra with the trailer full of bikes.
Yeah.
When that tire exploded and skinned itself on 65 miles an hour or whatever, oh boy, that's environmentally awesome. Because I mean, everything around you just changes. Because there's a boom, and then there's this big gator that's flying through the air, and then people got to swerve and stuff. Like, you provide a lot of butt-clenching entertainment in a very short period of time when that happens. Jeez. And I'm going to say it for the radio and posterity, I do think that recaps should be illegal. Because those can kill people. Yep. And I'm sure people die as a result of that shit. Oh, yeah. And I know that it's $100 more expensive to buy a tire that's not a recap, but those things are fucking dangerous.
I swear I've seen
Brought to you
signs.
by the Recappers of America Council.
Fucking shitty, man. If you ever hit one, you'll know because you got to buy tires.
I swear I've seen signs on certain routes that say no recaps.
Good, and they should do that on all of them.
Or no retreads, whatever.
Yeah.
You would think that like a lot of the commercial trucking companies would not allow them anyways. The liability to that, or is there any kind of liability?
There's no
to that?
liability as we've ever seen if you followed a gravel truck.
Yeah.
It says this truck is not responsible for items thrown from the road.
Yeah.
After they bounce out of the back of your non-tarped fucking gravel truck.
Right.
Right. But I'm sure there's that thing. But realistically, it is still a fucking 85-pound piece of steel-belted rubber coming at you at Mach 1.2.
Yep.
After having hastily exited a 13,000-pound vehicle.
It's probably not cool either. I mean,
it's probably pretty toasty warm as well, so it makes a nice cut. We've had them go off next to us on cross country trips, and that's a brown trousers moment. And I've hit them with the truck and done a lot of damage to a truck hitting those things. They're bad juju.
I've been behind a trailer that lost the whole axle, like not the axle, but like the whole
the
both
dually.
Wheel, the whole dually came off.
Just came off.
So I mean, how much do you think that weighs? Both those tires?
A lot.
Like 500 pounds
In the range.
rolling in the wrong direction.
Rolling in the wrong direction. Instantly just lost 13,000 pounds. Has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Very excited about itself.
It was
looking to meet
interesting.
people.
That was down in Tennessee, down like where Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I was there. This is funny, and nothing to do with anything. But I was there 2 weeks before it burned down. We were there on work. And I was like, "Holy!" We didn't know it was there.
And the Great Fire of Gatlinburg.
Yeah, but we were. Gatlinburg's here. I was like a couple blocks away. We were just looking for something to eat. We turned on the thing, and all of a sudden, there's like apes climbing buildings and upside down buildings.
Dude, it's Dollywood.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
you literally hit the Vegas of the East. Like,
and the most shady but awesome because I rode 3 of them. Go-kart tracks in the world, like 4 levels tall, wood-built go-kart tracks.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's insane. Well, at least it was. I mean, it might be burned down.
I mean,
now,
I don't
but
know if that's like the ultimate irony would have been there was the Titanic, the Titanic Hotel,
it is.
the Titanic experience.
Yeah.
So you're driving through Tennessee and you see a Titanic.
Yep. And a block after that is
Mid-situ.
the monkey climbing the building.
Right,
What is
exactly.
it? What's
saw
the
that
King
in the Babe
Kong?
Rally.
King Kong. Yeah.
What's that?
We saw that
Exactly.
in the
We saw it in the
Babe
Babe Rally.
Yeah.
There's a they were building it when we were in the Babe Rally.
Yeah.
But they were building the goddamn Titanic sinking in the middle of Tennessee. I was like, now if that burns like Towering Inferno style, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
If the Titanic was truly taken out by a fire, I gotta admit, that's something that can only happen in Dollywood.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean that whole town is basically Dollywood. Dolly started it.
Yep.
And then it turned into Hillbilly Mecca.
Yeah.
It turned into the Hillbilly Vegas.
There was 10,000. They had a hot rod show there that week. So there was 10,000 hot rods, 1 million people all checking out the hot rods, and then just the general folks.
The general chaos that is.
Yeah. It was really intense.
sorry,
All we were trying to
Pigeon
do is
Forge.
we were just trying to get a pizza, and it was like, what the fuck did we just walk into?
It's crazy, man.
It is. Yeah. It was
And
nuts.
as Dustin will tell you, we made a turn out of the mountains,
Yeah.
and it was there.
Right.
Oh,
it just
the
out of
fucking
nowhere.
Titanic.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people telling us like, "Don't take that route.
Right.
Skip that route. Skip that route." And we're like, "There's points we need to get. We're taking this fucking route.
Right.
And then we realized why they said skip it. It was
Yeah.
a 6-mile parking lot.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this is terrible. If it wasn't for that air horn, we would have never made it. Because we would have died of boredom if we couldn't just keep like, oh wait, here these people are
Making people jump.
People are crossing right in front of us. Hold on, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and ruin their life.
And dump valve.
And dump valve. And look, the guy's wallet just flew 400 feet. He just accidentally hit his wife. It was just,
I like the lady that
That's what he does normally. So.
We hit, and she just screamed at the
Hey,
top.
there's Hoffert. Hey. I'm looking. Oh. You must have come here on the Metropolitan.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
So,
Tell us what you bought,
Oh, you
Steve.
fail.
about a 1990 Ford ambulance.
Ambulance.
An ambulance. Is it truck-based or bus-based or van-based?
Van bay. It's
Okay.
an E350
That's an E350.
with a 7.3 IDI.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, 7.3 IDI. Yeah.
And it's slow as shit.
Not turbo.
I told you that.
No,
There's
it's
no-
like 72 miles an hour.
No.
It's like balls out.
No.
Wow.
There's no hint of a turbo in that thing.
No, but you know what? I got there.
You can get a bully dog kit for it, though.
I looked at it.
Yeah.
2,000 hours on the engine.
Really?
What's that
Is that
equate
a
to
lot?
miles?
It had 61,000 miles on it, 2,000 hours, and the thing is, it runs really well.
That's good.
But Mecco Fresh is, after staying in his RV,
RV, yeah.
I decided I'm going to buy an RV. So
You're gonna build one.
I've been looking for RVs,
Right.
and then I decided,
So he decided, I looked for RDs. I thought it'd be really fun to have a dog. So I got a puma.
no, but then I thought, an ambulance is built like a brick shit house.
It is. They're
And the only thing I have with
unkillable.
RVs is it's like plywood with like aluminum sheeting over it. This thing is diamond plate,
Yeah.
stainless steel. It's aluminum. It's got aluminum struts.
No, it's
all
mil-spec.
insulated. It's got rear
it's
air,
tank,
rear
yeah.
heat. It's got everything. It's got a bed back there already. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, all I need to do
And
is
all I got to do is wash the blood off of it, and you'll be good to go.
Kick
but
off.
man, that thing ran perfectly.
Cool.
But my freaking Prius,
Yeah.
it would shut down every 10 miles. It would come, this red diamond would come on the screen. The thing would shut off. If I didn't go 65 or above,
Yeah.
it would shut off.
So it's the movie Speed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible, but it didn't blow up.
What do you
It
mean
just
it's
stopped
horrible?
in
It's some of the
middle
best
road.
day ever. You've got a thing that says if you don't go over 65 miles an hour, I'm going to
fucked,
shut off.
yeah.
That to me is the greatest day ever.
Yeah, but then you find everybody in the world that drives like 42 in front of you.
I was, oh my god!
So,
I can't stop.
Yeah.
I'd be playing Mario
of my
Kart with that
way.
Prius.
No, it was horrible,
Turtle
so-
shell, turtle shell.
But you know what? The van,
Blue
the
shell.
ambulance
Get out to the front.
that thing is awesome.
Good.
So what does the title say? Does it say ambulance on it?
No,
or-
so this is the beauty
Yeah.
of the whole thing. I went in,
Jeez.
and this is thanks to Phil. I mean, I have to thank Phil for this whole thing.
As long as you do it loudly.
I went into the title bureau, and it says Econoline,
Right.
ambulance, whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm turning this into an RV.
That's right.
And they're very cute, very plump. Title, and I
And I have
filled out
this
every
donut.
every sweet
Yeah, I
that I
know.
have, which is very much.
Right.
But it was enough to get her to put RV on my title. So
From the get-go.
I walk into the license bureau and I hand her the thing, and I didn't realize that she put RV on the title.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I said, it's an old ambulance. I want to convert it into an RV. And she's like, well, it already says RV on the title.
Wow.
She said, do you have the accoutrements?
Yes.
In
Of course,
the-
of course I do.
in the ambulance to make it an RV. And I said, I have a bed and a sink.
Yes, I do. I have a bed and a sink. Yeah.
And she said,
exactly. Accoutrement.
The stamp came
That's
out.
right.
And I got to play.
That's
You
exactly.
ran
it.
like a bandit.
Yes, you did.
And that thing ran like
Is it air brakes or regular brakes?
it's regular brake.
Yeah.
It's just standard everything.
Okay,
It's
cool.
like- it's the most simplistic vehicle you've ever seen.
Oh, that's so cool.
So my buddy Hank went with me to
Yeah.
to do it. I was going to ride a motorcycle down there and roll it in and then ride
Yeah,
it.
that's the
But
Cleveland Moto
unfortunately,
way.
He came with me.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's great. And
The
thank
Cleveland
you,
Moto
Hank.
way is to ride an impossibly small motorcycle.
Neighbor
down
Hank?
there.
Yeah, neighbor
Right
Hank.
inside.
Yeah. So when the when my Prius started breaking down, I said, it's not fair for you to be driving the Prius.
Yeah.
Take the ambulance and I'll drive the Prius.
Right.
So the first time it broke down on me, he turns on all and then I thought I was getting pulled over. He's like, get out of the car, step to the side. Got the lights going. Everything's on. I'm like, I think I'm getting pulled over. And he's like screaming into the microphone. It's like,
Great.
it was really fun. Hank is awesome. Thank you, Hank. And we've decided that we're going to take the rotating light on the top of the thing and turn it into a lava lamp.
That's brilliant.
Huge lava lamp.
That's a very good application of technology.
So I'm psyched now. So I finally have an RV.
That's
So
cool.
next year in Mid-Ohio.
An ambulance is going to make it to the.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
nice.
Holy crap.
Isn't that fun? Yeah. It's an exciting thing.
Hopper, out of the Prius. Away from the Prius.
Is that a zero cop bike?
This is an actual, real deal. Hold on, we'll do it. Ready? Yeah.
Wow.
That just happened.
Proper.
Yeah.
What?
What? I can't hear you.
Is that for a particular department?
Yes,
or-
it's for the Presque Isle for Erie,
Wow.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
Ranger station on Presque Isle. They bought a Zero DSR police bike.
Nice.
So it is. Did you really? Yeah. What, beach number 6? Of course.
Yeah.
Beach number 6. Don't wear your whole pants. The beach number 6 is
in the
adjacent
bag.
to the ranger
Look in the
station.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going out to Presque Isle. It's going to be a Presque Isle police bike.
That would be a great
Hey, so-
demo.
I'm delivering it on Wednesday.
Speaking of cops, on my way to work this morning, it was
Yeah.
6:45 a.m. and I was leaving, and I'm driving, and I live in Cleveland Heights, and I'm heading toward the highway on Cedar, and I hit the light, and there's a dude in the left-hand lane texting.
Okay.
A lady in the right-hand lane applying all of her makeup at the same time.
Yeah.
So they leave the light, and they're both all over the place,
Absolutely.
right? So as the guy gets just a little bit ahead of the woman, I'm on my S10. I just punch it. I go between them. I hit like 50 miles an hour.
You're super tenacious.
I'm just getting the hell
As
out.
opposed to a small pickup truck. for
Right,
shit.
right.
All
I'm getting the hell out of there. I get in front of him. I pull back in the lane, and I don't see anything. But I let off, and I'm going. I'm trying to get back to the speed limit. 2 seconds later, lights come on behind me. Cop pulls me over,
Yeah.
and he comes up, and so I shut the bike down. I'm sitting there, and he comes up. And he's like, "You know why I pulled you over?" I said, "Well, I was probably going about 45 back there." And he goes, "Correct." And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well." I said, just being honest with you, I ride aggressively, and by that I don't mean like
Fast.
aggressively, but I like to keep myself safe, and I like to be in my own lane. I said I had a person texting on a cell phone and a woman applying makeup. I saw my opportunity. I blew through them, and I said, honestly, I'm just going to be honest. I didn't see you. I slowed back down to go the speed limit after I got out of the
I
situation.
created a bubble of safety.
Right. And he goes, I used to ride, I get that. Let me go back. So he goes, he takes my license and insurance stuff, comes back, he's like, well, your driving record's not the best, because obviously years ago I used to be an idiot.
Well, yeah.
And not that I'm not now, but whatever. But he comes back and he goes, I should give you a ticket, but you didn't lie to me, and your story makes 100% sense, and you're wearing a fluorescent yellow jacket, a fluorescent yellow
gear.
helmet, and
you didn't try to run away from
Chris
me.
Smith.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know Chris Smith. But
you guys
but anyways,
part of the same
so he came
club?
back and he goes, try not to do this, but also I understand why you did
Right.
that, and don't ever not be safe, and have a nice day.
Isn't that
So-
awesome?
So
Don't ever not be
congratulations to
safe.
that. Yeah. You know,
Best way of starting the day, man.
It was.
Don't ever not be safe. I like the don't ever not be safe
Well,
though.
I mean, that's the thing. He was like, I think at that point he realized, like, look,
Right.
you're on a motorcycle. Rush hour traffic is fucking ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
People aren't even driving; they're
Yeah.
doing other things. Of
course.
So yeah, I broke the speed limit for 500
I broke
feet.
a rule, but
Yeah.
I may live longer because of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you know, these people, like, maybe they should have focused on the people texting or putting their makeup on or something.
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
Which are both illegal things to do.
I had a
Right.
big heavy trailer
Yeah.
out today,
Yeah.
and a lady in front of I had a rented trailer with a car in it, going out to Shane's place to drop a car off, and yeah, sure as shit, lady in front of me on 83 is just, she got that pencil thing, that mascara thing, right? And she's doing that mascara thing, and she got the vanity mirror down and the whole deal, and I'm like, yep, in about 9 seconds this light is going to turn green, and yep, there it goes. And okay, well, I've got the dual air horns in my truck, which we love for comedy effect. And I stabbed him, and I was just like, the only thing that could make my life better is if I would have just got to straight up Cedar Point bumper car her ass, because if I could have just given her just that authorized amount of Cedar Point bumper car to stick that pencil right in her eyeball, and then just full on stuck it right into the gooey part in the middle, and just make that Cadbury egg cream come out. I'd be so happy about that. Yeah,
So good.
so good. Oh wait, let me get some of that up. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, that's that game, man. And it's awful.
But I definitely appreciated the fact that a police officer used common sense.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
But he
so
was a
cool.
writer, so he knew what the.
He said he used to ride.
You're
but-
right.
Right.
That makes a big difference.
And how happy is he to not be chasing you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I stopped immediately. Yeah.
Right,
I shut the
exactly.
bike off, got off, the whole nine, stood there, had the license out.
Right.
I have my
Yeah, your modular
so I
on,
flipped
so
it
you
up,
flipped it up.
so you
Yeah.
can see. Had hands out, gloves
Right.
off, nothing.
Turned on all 7 of your GoPros. Hold on, officer. I'm waiting for the drone to get to.
The drone's going to catch up. It's
Hold on, the
gonna
drone's going to catch
a
up in a second. All right, you're on.
And hover.
And 3, 2, 1. Am I being detained?
That's when you do that little circle mode on the drone
Yeah,
where it just
exactly.
circles around.
Try to ignore my friend. Yeah. But I don't like drones. They invade my privacy. Have you ever heard of drone?
Yeah, there's no.
They don't
invading
invade
anything.
anybody's
No.
privacy.
They're not quiet at all.
My
Not even the
God.
tiniest one.
My neighbor's shitty 2-stroke weed whacker makes
Flying
less
lawnmower. I
noise.
was going to say it's like a flying lawnmower.
Mid-Ohio was quiet, though.
What's that?
That drone at Mid-Ohio.
There was a drone at Mid-Ohio?
It was at
I saw
400
it.
feet
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
air.
big.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
400 feet in the air. You're not going to hear it, but if you're on your balcony with your woman kissing her, and you're not going to have some dude sneak up and pop up and be like,
There ain't no drones looking at my
No.
back window and shit.
No.
I mean,
That
not
was
even
stuff from the
close.
explosives anyway. So
Yeah.
So, how about all the fires that happened at Mid-Ohio around, not in Mid-Ohio, but around it?
Man. Yeah.
But it was, I swear, tell me if this is not the right thinking. People were lighting those lanterns that
Yeah,
you
the
light
Chinese
a block
lanterns.
of
Yeah.
like
The Chinese Air
napalm,
Force.
and then you
That's a
send it up
horrible
with a
idea.
bag.
Yeah.
Like 100 of these things go up in the air and they just float off and they come down somewhere.
The
And all of a
odds
sudden, there's
are-
houses on fire.
Well, the one came on nearly in our campsite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one came down nearly in our campsite. And these kids were all bailing over the fence. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's been raining for 3 days.
Yeah.
Don't get tetanus
Right.
to put out a fire that's never going to start in the first place. Stay on your side of the fence. Fuck off.
Right. If it lands on the roof of a house, that's a
Right.
problem.
Exactly. Well, Bruce was like, if it lands on my brand new awning on
He
my,
bought it
Bruce
almost
has
then,
got
yeah.
Bruce has got a camper that's worth at least $400.
Right.
At least $700 worth of awning on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would totally respect him if a fucking Chinese Air Force device landed on his the Chinese drone program.
Right.
Yeah, landed on his Chinese awning.
Landed on his brand new awning,
And then the
I'd be-
chemicals mix
I'd
and
be
it just
pissed.
turns into napalm.
But there were apparently right outside of Gate 2, the house that is adjacent to Gate 2
Yeah, burned out.
burned on Friday morning apparently because we got there. The fire department was still there.
Yeah. No, it was Thursday night.
Oh, it did burn
Thursday
Thursday.
night,
night.
the first night, yeah.
Wow.
the one
Yeah.
across
and that-
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, little like
Yeah.
the single wide or double wide, whatever. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Single wide. Yeah.
Yeah,
Single.
gutted,
It still
gutted.
had wheels under it.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yeah.
New to the neighborhood. New to the neighborhood. Still had
Bruce
wheels
get
under it.
that insane
Yeah.
Coleman running.
Yeah,
Oh.
he had the mini bike. He bought the mini bike with
Yeah, he
the
did get it
ATC 250 motor in it.
No, it was absurd. Whatever that motor
Wait,
They had a
was.
suicide shifter on the side.
By,
everything.
by Sunday,
was a
he
terrible
bought 3
idea.
mini bikes.
Yeah.
Yep.
By Sunday, so.
Yeah.
He
That
was
had
eyeballing mine, and I'm like, ain't for sale, dude. Yeah.
No, yours was far too one piece.
It's just way,
His shit was all like
way too new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a 492 stroke.
No, it's a 175.
I know, but the joke's better when it's a 492.
Yeah.
It was way more than it needed to be. And then, of course, it had the jockey shifter set up right where your scrotum was.
Yeah, it just had
So, like,
You
one
shift it with your knee.
or.
You're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just tap it with your dick just a little bit. Because it's a foot shifter that now has 3 feet of literally conduit.
Right.
Oh,
to
yeah.
it to be the shifter.
It had so much slop in it, though.
Oh, that
Hey,
thing was
hey, speaking of scrotums, who has the iron scrotum that left a scrotum mark fixing someone's car?
what?
What?
No. Look,
The taint of steel.
that was completely calibrated. Measurements were taken. Various different pieces of wood were found, and we perfectly did all the body work needed to a brand new Prius.
Yep, perfect.
That was apparently a rental.
A rental. It was beyond, no, it was beyond
I
a
didn't
rental.
know
It was like
that.
the Airbnb of cars.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a car B&B.
Yeah, it was a car B&B.
Yeah. So somebody's car had got my taint and ball sack printed on it.
Yeah. It's-
Because
I didn't
apparently,
know that.
whilst driving down the freeway, for some weird reason, because she clearly didn't reach down and just pull the hood latch for no reason,
well,
the hood flew open at 70 miles an hour.
right.
And turned that nicely formed, shaped Toyota hood into a flat piece of paper when it hit the windshield.
But
which
did not
didn't
break
shatter.
the windshield.
She was
I
lucky
know.
about not cracking the.
But then when they got the hood down to where it should be, nothing lined up because they'd scared all the curves out of the hood.
Who knew, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So like all the brackets and all the things were in the wrong spot. So I was like, well, if we can get just even one of those
to-
two items,
just to get that,
the
yeah.
secondary catch or the latch, the cable operated hook lock, if we can get either one of those to catch, it's going to be good. We'll be able to go down the road. So we tried applying man meat to it in various different directions, and pushing on it and pulling on it and tugging on it.
And then the sec came out.
Well, then I think
The taint of steel.
then I was just like, the problem is we don't need to push the hood further into the car. We need to create a curvature in the hood that used to be there.
Car further into the
Right. So my first idea was to have one of those small ladies lie on her back on the motor and push up with her feet. Then I realized we were pulling down on the hood while she pushed up with her feet. We might actually kill her by accident. But the visual of a Prius eating a small girl would be hilarious.
Yeah.
A small lady
Comedic
being eaten
effect,
by a
this
Prius
would be
is pretty
great,
rad.
yeah.
But I looked and there was nowhere
Priuses are
comfortable.
hungry for small Asian women.
Yeah, there was nowhere comfortable to lay under the hood of the Prius.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, there were two of them.
We had our choice. Hofford, we had our
Yeah, I
choice.
know.
We did. And they're both accomplished long distance riders, too. So,
Wait, they were Liza's friends?
yeah, from the Pakistan adventure, from Chickistan. Why did you go home early? Okay, so we
My
grabbed a
friend
big.
died. I'm sorry.
See?
Wah, wah, wah.
And you went home and he came back to life?
No, he was still dead.
Oh, then you should have stayed at the rally.
Yeah.
That'll teach you.
I should have.
Yeah,
Tough crowd.
that'll teach you. I had never seen anybody resurrected by me attending their funeral. So I'm fucking literally 0 for 100. I'm staying away.
I got screamed at to have. Okay, so the guy died of colon cancer. Or something.
Okay. So
So
now you
his
got to have a
wife-
camera up your ass.
No, his wife was screaming at me in the whatever line to get some camera shoved up my ass.
Oh, colonoscopy.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
that is.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, you're going to die anyway.
You find the right group of friends, they might pay you for that.
Yeah. that's
Yeah, but
true.
no, but that stuff, that's serious. They can find something to save you. I mean,
I know, but-
I'm not saying you shouldn't get a colonoscopy.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what
I'm just saying,
is,
yelling
whatever
Next week
comes
on
out
this
your
program,
fucking
Steve
number-
gets a colonoscopy.
For free.
Now wait, I heard a special deal at Rocky River Urgent
We have
Care.
a horoscope here.
I was about to say, don't you guys got those scopes?
Mac brought it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the keys to the urgent care.
All he's gonna
Yeah,
see are
We don't need to be
healthy
supervised.
numbers and poop. So,
Maybe the ambulance has some kid in there for getting some.
So,
We have an ambulance and keys to an urgent care and a borescope.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nothing
We're
before
never paying for
colonoscopies
surgery
for everyone.
So what's cancer look like?
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
Does
wait,
this look
so
like cancer?
we got a member here, Nick, who
Yeah.
sold his bike and is bikeless. So
Ready to
what's he
bike?
going to buy now?
you're bikeless.
That's a good point.
Well,
Yeah.
he's
It's an excellent
I have a Vespa, but
Yeah, he's got a gorgeous Vespa Rally. But
Yeah, but he wants something, and
but I had to drive here, so.
yeah.
yeah, so he needs a bike. He needs
So
some
you're
kind of like-
in a shop with a lot of bikes.
Well,
I mean, you know.
the problem is I know what I want, but they don't come up very often.
All right, what do you want?
What do you want?
If any podcast listener has a Suzuki Bandit 400 that they
Ooh,
want
there
to
you
sell
go.
me for cheap,
You're right,
Whoa.
sir. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. That is rare.
I've heard
Why do you
rumors
wanna
that there's a
punish
Bandit
yourself?
1200 somewhere.
One
around.
right there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's too big.
There's one sitting on your shoulder at the moment, Steve.
I know that. I'm
Go
just
like
saying.
Ohio?
I want the 400.
All these demands, so many
Did
demands.
anybody see in the swap meet a bike that they would? I mean, it probably didn't have the right price, but I mean, any bike that you were kind of looking into maybe buying, other than the Green Monster. that
Well,
you
no.
got?
There was the Japanese contingent of guys. There was a importing group that brought every wet dream Honda that you've ever seen in your life in one booth. But they were priced accordingly. They were 35 grand, 25 grand. They had Galaxy 500s. I mean, like whatever. Like, what do you call it? What is it? What the fuck?
That's a Ford there, bro.
No. What's the two-stroke fucking Honda? The fuck. What is it? You know what I'm
Not a
talking
Galaxy 500.
that's all right.
German secret attack vehicle, fart rocket bike. Yeah, not as fast as you'd think it would be.
No.
But you are sitting on a bomb.
Fucking rocket.
Yeah.
There are 2 rocket motors on Gov wheels right now.
Are there really?
Yes.
Which
How would
ones
you
are
know
they?
that, Steve?
Wait. Which ones are they though? Are they the little?
No, they're like full size from like whatever the.
Not turbines.
No,
They're JADOs. Or
I don't know
something
what
like
the hell
that.
they are,
Yeah.
but they're like they said, put them in your museum or use them. We don't care what you do with them.
Whoa.
Just buy them.
So they're not one-time only dry or liquid oxygen rockets. They're like.
No, they're actually jet, and I mean they're full size.
Yeah.
Are they turbines or just rockets?
A43s or
Yeah.
some. I don't know exactly what they're out of. I mean, it says on the
Right.
site, but I don't remember. But
Right.
but the things
Because if you've
are,
got two jet motors,
You can get your lawn done fast.
like kerosene powered
There's
straight
a
up
funny
jet
car in your
motors.
future.
yeah.
No, there's a whole mid Ohio full of shit you can put that to.
Oh, yeah.
the
I'm
point,
thinking shopping
bike.
cart
the point of this.
because we have a shopping cart.
four wheels and a saddle.
Oh man, too bad you got rid of the
The
bumper
point
car.
of this story is if you're at work and bored,
Yeah.
government deals is a great place.
Great
to
time
go.
killer.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You can murder all kinds of productivity
Oh, yeah.
on government deals.
That's where those diesel KLRs were on there.
Governmentliquidation.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Wheels.com.
Yep. So anybody got anything else for us? All right, that was a pretty good podcast for following up Mid Ohio. I'm satisfied with it. I think it's somewhere between mediocre and acceptable. Yeah. Aside from that, remember, guys, ride fast and take chances. Sing us out of here.
Bum,
Dum, 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 dum.